Hey everyone, my name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
And welcome back. Today's video is going to be about how many people from my family are still living in the polygamous community and group, and how many have moved out.
Yes, and if you want to hear more about Sam's story of how he left polygamy, then you can click on the link above. And if you want to continue to hear more of his stories, about what it was like growing up in polygamy, then go ahead and like and subscribe.
Yes.
And for today, one question that he gets a lot when people find out that he left was if his family is still out there, now that it's been quite a few years since he left himself. So I guess the first question is, are your parents still out there?
Yes. So not only my mom and dad, but also all of the mothers are still out there. So yes, all of the parents are still, and when I say out there, they don't live in Colorado, Hilldale City community anymore. All of them have most members that still follow Warren Jeffs have scattered and now live in places all over, mostly still in Utah. But they do not live in Hilldale or Colorado City. They have moved out now, but they still believe in and follow Warren Jeffs.
Yeah, and that was actually a directive from Warren Jeffs himself a couple of years ago. He said, if you still leave me, too many people were moving back to that area after having left the church. And so he was saying, listen, you need to move out of there. There's too many apostates. That's what they call people who have left. Too many apostates were coming back to the community. And so,
in a way, overrunning the community. They were
the non-believers.
Becoming more non-believers than believers. So they were directed to move out, and all of them, I believe, that believe in Warren Jeffs still do not live there, as far as I am aware. Yeah, they've all moved out. So.
And all of his, his father and all of the mothers are still very faithful and still believe that Warren Jeffs is a prophet of God. So they still are fully in the religion. As far as siblings go, though,
I was just going to point out that all of those that still believe in Warren Jeffs are still living in the same house together.
Okay.
For the most part.
They
had kind of moved together,
Gotcha.
Yep. But yes, as far as siblings go, there are 35, including myself. And as far as how many are there and how many have moved out, it's about half and half. So there are, what did we decide? 17 that have moved out, and 18 that are still in the religion. Yeah.
Still in the religion. And a lot of those that are still in the religion, a lot of them are younger, because Sam's kind of like right in the middle. Even with all the mother's children, he's kind of in the middle. And so I know we talked about before in a video, but it's really hard to, you can't really leave until you're 18, until you're an adult to be able to leave. So there's still a lot of younger children that really haven't had an opportunity, even if they were wanting to leave. They can't leave yet. So there's still a lot of younger kids out there.
And I've heard from some that still live out there that they are considering it, and it's nice now for them that do want to move out that they have somewhere to come and someone to reach out to.
Yeah, now they have a lot more support.
Unlike when I moved out, it's nice. It's nice to have that, and I'm here to help out whoever wants to help them, get on their feet. So
and then for those who are still living out there, like, how much are you allowed to communicate with people who are still in the religion?
Yes. So as far as siblings go, not at all. Not at all. It's
sad.
It's
so hard.
And it's been that way for the most part ever since I moved out years and years ago. It's been very difficult to reach out to any of them or talk with any of them. Unless they're wanting to move out, then they will reach out to me. Or one of my brothers or sisters.
They seem to magically be able to get a hold of people's phone numbers. Like, it's kind of interesting because sometimes he'll receive a random phone call and it will be a younger sibling accidentally calling. Like, I accidentally
this is you. Oh, hey, well, now that I've got you on the phone, let's talk.
Let's talk, So which is good for us to know that somehow they're still, like, being able to get a hold of us. They're not completely cut off, and they do have the opportunity to reach out if they need something. But for the most part.
I think they get our phone numbers because my mother and father have my phone number, even though it's rare that I get to talk with them. I guess that's the next question.
Yeah.
Do I get to talk with them? The answer is sometimes. It's rare. It's rare. And for the most part, no. We don't really get to communicate. I can't go and, face to face meet them and sit down with them and talk or have a meal together, any of that kind of thing. It's very hard to get a hold of them or to meet up with them. With my father, it's a little bit easier, and I do get to call him. I can call him whenever I want, I guess, but he has to be careful. He's still following those teachings and beliefs, and he doesn't want to get in trouble. And if word got out there that he was meeting up with his what are called apostate children, then he could get in trouble with the leaders of the church, and
Because if it was up to the leaders of the church, there would be no communication at all. They'd be completely cut off, and that kind of goes back to the fact of like you being a bad example. That's the main reason they keep him from the siblings. Where sometimes, his parents will take his calls, but as far as siblings go, they don't want his bad influence.
Right.
Talking to the siblings.
Exactly, and because obviously I respect and care for my parents a lot, I wouldn't ever want to create an issue for them,
with their leaders.
Or their leaders. So for that reason, I don't reach out very frequently. I just to not get them in trouble of any kind. But with my mother, she still doesn't really want to talk to us. She probably wants to.
Because every mother is going to want to talk.
She wants to talk with us, but we don't really get to talk to her very often because she's really scared of getting in trouble with the leaders of that religion and that church. So it's very rare, and even if I do reach out to her, sometimes I'm not able to get through to her, and maybe it's because she's not answering, or maybe it's because, who knows, many reasons, but it's maybe once a year that I get to talk with her.
Yeah, and I think sometimes too it's easier to reach out to his father because the men from the polygamist community too, like they work in the normal world. They interact with a lot more people in general. Sure. Yeah. And so it's a lot more common for them to have phone calls from people outside of the community, whereas the women are a lot more sheltered in the community and kind of kept away from the world.
And it's always been that way. It's always been that way. If anything, it's a little bit less that way now. It's changing. It's changing now because now that everyone is scattered, and kind of moved out and are on their own in a way. It's not that tight community that they had out there where they were able to just, shun the world and keep everyone out, and they lived in their own community. Now they're scattered and living in all parts of the country. So, it's a little bit harder to keep sheltered and to not be out, out meeting other people and
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But, that's how, most of his family, like I said, it's about 50-50 of who's left and who's still there. Yep. And we still hold out hope that someday it's going to be different. That someday we'll be able to communicate more openly and hopefully get to see. Let them meet their grandkids and things like that. So we hold out hope for that.
And with all the changes, who knows? Hopefully sometime soon that'll happen. So.
Yeah, but again, if you like these videos, like hearing more about what it was like for Sam to live in a polygamous community and leaving it, then please like and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys soon.
We'll talk to you soon.